It's not any of the descriptions of the tattoos, but I've described a tattoo in something I was writing before, and I kind of launched into this style of describing it like, here's all the different elements, and not necessarily how they all fit together, but here's some of the different symbols you could pick out if you like looked at the whole, sleeve design or something.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, here's a Excalibur on there and an army helmet. But I'm basically reusing a bit of, I don't know, not narrative, because it's not the story, structure, I guess.
Yeah.
Bit of writing structure.
Hello, and welcome to this special episode of Double Issue with Craft Corner. No regular episode for today. Starting next week is our Christmas special. It's going to be real good, worth the wait. We play a game with some friends of the show, and I think you'll really enjoy it. All right, and here are some Craft Corner pieces. It's Quentin and I discussing writing craft during our last episode, and we had enough of it that we wanted to do like a special episode. If you have questions about our writing process or just writing questions in general, be sure to email us doubleissueshow@gmail.com with those questions, and maybe we'll answer them at some point. All right, I hope you enjoy the episode.
Which are, I had a writing teacher that we would finish reading a novel in his class, and he was like, so what are you going to take from this? And everyone was like, well, I really like how the characters talk to each other, and I think it's a really neat thing to write dialogue like that. And he was like, no, what specific thing are you going to steal from this book? I was like, oh, well, I'm going to steal, like, the way he does lists.
That just reminds me, I've been reading on the new Kindle that I got for Christmas.
Yeah.
From you.
Oh.
The Mistborn trilogy.
Oh, yeah.
Have you read that?
No, I have it on my Kindle.
Hey, I'm like 3% in.
Of like 1,200 pages or something.
That many locations, I think, at least.
Oh, it's more than that location-wise. Locations are... I don't know what exactly Kindle locations are, but they're not analogous to sentences or pages or anything.
Yeah. And I think those get re-decided. Like, it'll reformat or something sometimes.
I think a book stays static because what it does is it's how it kees your place on a page, I believe. No matter if you change font or change which system you're on.
Okay.
It's not. What is it? According to independent testing, a location is about 125 characters or 23 words. So it's like smaller pages, just so it can know more accurately where you're at in a book. Okay. It has no bearing to humans reading, which is what I hate about it. Like, why even tell me the location numbers? Right. Unless I like specifically need it or something. But yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say I want to steal the way Brandon Sanderson.
Yeah, Brandon.
The way he interjects characters' thoughts kind of effortlessly into the text to describe their thought, but then has like a paragraph backing it up. Like, it's just all very seamless, and it feels like almost like he's got a formula to when to interject a character thought, additional just background wording. Like, I don't know, it just flows very good. I'm not saying it's like excellent writing. It's like, I haven't read enough of it to know, but
I haven't read anything of his, but I have watched a few of his. He has some like writing classes on YouTube, and he was a good explainer of things, even if I hadn't read his stuff. He had some very neat ideas on the craft side. Another person which I considered you should consider looking at, Jim Butcher. He has some
Yeah.
articles about writing, and that provided a very different perspective on how to structure a novel. That was very interesting. Like, instead of the 3 act or whatever, he breaks his novel into scenes and sequels. And a scene is an action scene, and a sequel is a downbeat reaction to what just happened. And and it's basically how he's written all of the Dresden books is an action scene, which doesn't necessarily mean, guns and spells or whatever. It could be, a conversation, but it's a scene of doing a thing, trying to accomplish a thing. And then they either get what they want, which shouldn't happen in any scene until you get near the end, or they fail and the next one is dealing with the aftermath of that. And the whole book is just that back and forth. And that's a very interesting way to look at that stuff.
It just reminds me that working on my Cloud Sea, kind of young adult books, my first draft, I got it down to the John Whitman style. Every chapter begins with an action occurring, like a bad thing supposed to be happening, and then it lulls in the middle, and then it always has to end with the next cliffhanger. It's bad. My first book's bad.
You'll get there.
Yeah, someday I'll finish rewriting it.
Yeah.
Or I'll start it for the 8th time.
And that has been Craft Corner.
Hey.
Where we talk about the writing craft.
I had an idea for Bison and Wisp having an important heart-to-heart conversation while just beating up little green men aliens. But I haven't written it yet.
Another story waiting for a prompt to come along.
That's right. Yeah, do you want to do Martians as a prompt? Or little green men? I don't know. Just random.
Just random. It's just thinking.
Yeah.
How often, this is very straying from your story. How often, because I have story ideas, and sometimes the prompt comes along and I go, oh, I think I was thinking about something along these lines. And so I just kind of go with an idea that I've had before, like you with that, this one and the little green men one. Sometimes it's just sitting there waiting for a prompt to spring it in.
I definitely have some story beats I want to hit at some point, and so I'm just waiting till a good prompt comes along for those.
So what would you say is the mix between those and the other type where you and obviously it's a spectrum. Sometimes you take ideas or whatnot, but the other side of the spectrum is you are given a prompt, and from there, all the ideas spring forth just from the prompt.
Those are very rare for me.
Oh, really?
I say for everyone that's a pre-idea to everyone that's a new idea, it's 3 to 1. Because I think the only one I can think of right offhand is Rooftops and Starship Crash, the Michonne story. Those two are ones that once we came up with the prompt, I was like, there it is. That's it. That's what I'm doing.
Oh, that's interesting. Because I think I'm more to that side of the spectrum. I think you have story ideas, and we both obviously have story ideas. that's the podcast. But I think mine are a little more free floating in my head.
Oh, gotcha.
It's a little more you have a definite it'd be fun to have them beating up little green men and having a heart-to-heart, and the juxtaposition is already there in your head kind of deal. And obviously it could change by the time it gets out onto the page for a story, an actual story, obviously. But I think mine is more amorphous than that, the types of ideas I have. It might be a team or something. And then a prompt comes and I stick it into the pool of ideas, and sometimes it'll snag a thing that has been swirling around in there, and sometimes it won't. But I think I jump off the prompt more than I attach a prompt to a thing.
Yeah.
It's interesting behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I like talking about this stuff.
Yeah.
And getting to insight into other people's processes.
Well, see, it's funny because I think that's how our novel writing is too. It seems like when we've talked about it, you're a little more explorative, aren't you? The story's kind of unfolding as you go.
Somewhat.
I usually go out and write all of my chapter like premises out first
Yeah.
and like actually like diagram my beats and
When it comes to like a larger structure of things, I don't know, it's like a mix. I like having. I usually have an ending in mind for a lot of things I do.
right.
Like I usually have, even with the stories, I kind of have where I want to end up most of the time. A beat I want to end on, but sometimes I do kind of like have a kernel of an idea and maybe where I want to go to, and then just kind of explore some. Yeah. I think it kind of shakes out that way. I don't know, with the larger project, it's harder to do that.
Yeah.
Because that means writing a ton more. So I like to be a little more structured going into like a more novelistic type thing. But yeah.
Oh, that's like,
What?
you should be okay. I was talking to Kate for a second.
This will go into our craft corner. I think we had a little bit of craft corner earlier. I'll just put it all together.
There you go.
These are
the podcast within a podcast.
Yeah, these are the kind of things that I was hoping maybe at the 1 year point we would have like a Q&A type episode and go into this type of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess we can leave it there for now.
Right.
But if I release this as a bonus Craft Corner episode, send us your questions for if we do a Q&A episode.
Yeah.
About the writing process or anything else.
Hey, thanks for listening. I think we had a pretty good discussion there. I just wanted to say here on the way out that if you enjoy the show, please make sure to subscribe and like us. You could go over to iTunes and you could leave us a review, like this beautiful 5-star review from Rick is here. They said, if you are in the market for creative storytelling, look no further than Double Issue. The hosts do a great job switching between world-building episodes and story episodes, making for an immersive experience that'll bring you back week after week. Thank you so much, Rick is here. And feel free to bring your own over to iTunes. I also wanted to present to you, the listener, 2 websites that we use a lot, and I wanted to suggest you go over there and support them and show them some love. It's freesound.org, where we get a lot of our sound effects for each of these episodes, and the freemusicarchive.org. Both are really wonderful places to find Creative Commons, and both are great resources for finding sound for podcasts and other projects. So check over there and give them a listen. Our theme song this week was Freeharmonics by the Freeharmonics Orchestra, used and shortened under the Creative Commons license. Remember, this show is shared under the Share-alike Creative Commons license. Feel free to remix and add to the show as you feel like. Just let us know when you use it. All right, and as we say each and every week with the same catchphrase, no matter what, like we always say,
I've been expecting you.
Thanks for listening.